Welcome to Cross Country Checkup. LA Law is not the name of a TV show. It's an absurd and futile nightmare. I'm Rex Murphy. Nowhere are we more passive, more receptive.
Catch him all over the CBC.
Sign on than into the dream of the computer. For the National, I'm Rex Murphy.
Read about him right across the country. Watch him materialize on the internet.
I don't think I'm a consequential person. A few people got a charge out of the stuff, but it's not serious business. It is not celebrity, but it is being in a kind of favored position because of where you are. You're on the damn television set, and that you can kind of stir the pot a little tiny bit. But it's really conversational stuff. The reason I'm here is that I'm celebrating the 25th anniversary of Newfoundland and Confederation. And the reason I did that is that I'm tired of Screech, Joey Smallwood, pretty scenery, and how are you by being about the most that most people know of what this province is like.
Part of what this province is like, he learned as a boy, right here on Murphy's Lane in Freshwater. His family moved from Carbonear so his father could work at the nearby American naval base.
If you got in a debate, well, you could always put him on the underdog side. You knew he could win for the underdog, you know, so.
Art Power was his neighbor and his friend.
It doesn't surprise me where he's at today, right? Because in school he was very, very intelligent. It was down to the point you didn't wonder who was going to come first in class. You were fighting for second or third or fourth place in class. You weren't fighting for first. You knew Rex, you know, he was a step above everybody else.
35 years ago, Sister Angela Curtis was a teacher in Freshwater. She taught English to Rex Murphy.
The youngest and the brightest, massive curly hair, always trying to flatten it out. I don't think he has that trouble now. Always into the books, always wanted to learn more and be surprised when his answers would come out. The flow of English was beyond his years, and I often wondered, where is this boy going?
Where he went first was Memorial University at age 15.
It definitely was the magnetic center for at least one dimension of hope or fulfillment in Newfoundland. People forget.
And Memorial opened up a dimension of hope and fulfillment for Rex Murphy.
So you did have the idea that you were meshing some sort of intellectual effort around the place that you were in.
At Memorial, he became a politician, leader of the student union. This was in the mid-60s. Fraser March was also on the council.
And Rex, as the leader of the student movement at that time, was not only the Rex of as my mother would say, the gift of the gab, because this is why he was the Wayne Gretzky of this era. He could just simply out-talk everybody. I mean, if you argue with Rex, the problem is you might have some good ideas, but by the time you get a chance to express your ideas, you forgot them.
Silent film from 1965 shows Rex attacking Joey Smallwood over tuition fees. But the free tuition was only for first-year students. Make it free for everybody, said Murphy.
And Joey went berserk.
But Rex's campaign worked.
Next year, all students in this university will have free tuition, without exception.
Then, after the applause for Smallwood, somebody stood up and said,
3 chairs for Rex Murphy. And the place went up.
And it was great because it was in the days of his high wrath when he was more or less on question. And to see Joey doing a full Vesuvius in front of your face was just a marvelous enterprise. I got called down by him in private a number of times, and I've never been called down by anybody since that caused me the slightest grief, because the master had done the destruction in a way that I'll never forget.
But even for Rex Murphy, university also meant going to class. and mingling with other students, like Rita Power from Placentia.
We would all sit around the cafeteria and we'd be sweating over exams and so forth. And Rex would be there as cool as a cucumber, never worried about his exams, probably didn't open a book, come out with straight A's, and he used to blow our minds. He was amazing. He was so, so brilliant. Well, this is what the students would tell me at the time, that he, if they didn't do their English paper or couldn't do their English paper, they'd pay Rex $10. Rex would do the English paper, but the thing was, you were guaranteed an A if Rex did your English paper.
Well, if he did that, then he really owes me because I never got any A's from his essays. I never ever paid him, though.
After Memorial, he went to Oxford University as a Rhodes Scholar. Can you look at any elements of what you are now and say, okay, I can trace that back to something specific at Memorial?
That's the scum that I am now compared to the scum that I was then. The only thing that really is traceable is very simple, is that this was a place where a lot of extremely good books were around, and as I said, a lot of very bright people.
One of those bright people who had a strong influence on Rex was Professor George Story.
He had the slyest and occasionally most savage sense of humor, combined with a high elegance. If you ever want to see people, you know, done in verbally, you should read closely some of these public orations. Aside from the murders at their center, and that is a massive
George Story would be proud.
The Simpson boondoggle was one long, egregious marathon of excess, hype, hucksterism, charlatanry, voyeurism, gossip, and tattle. The two events, not even in the spurious imagination of TV, tabloid, or...
But his language didn't spring just from the university. He learned it from the talk of ordinary Newfoundlanders.
Deep down in my gut today, there's a knob and a tear in my eye to look out, like I said, where I once belonged, and don't belong there anymore, because my future's took away from me.
The best talkers in Newfoundland are not educated. That's entirely a native gift. I think it's a response to maybe history, maybe hardship, maybe something else. It may be the Irish streak. Whatever it is, it's endemic to this place.
But these days, he's in another place. Moved with his career to the mainland, Toronto mostly. Which doesn't at all please some Newfoundland callers to his national radio show.
Seeing you moving to Toronto is like Wayne Gretzky going to the LA Kings.
I'm going to have you call back again. Anyway, sir, what do you think of...
But Toronto it is, for now, though home will always be Newfoundland.
There's no severing the bond. You meet people in airports all the time that have been up in the Northwest Territories or coming down from Toronto after 2 years' work. And it's like they're under some terrible compulsion finally to reach home. You don't see Ontarians going back to Ontario that way. And you don't see people saying, oh my Lord, I can't wait to get back to Dartmouth.
Rex Murphy at the keyboard. Most of his composing he does in his apartment, crafting each piece like a musical score.
I've always considered that style was more important than substance. If you pay sufficient attention and if you have enough respect for the thought that you're holding, either about an issue or about a situation or about a person, that the respect is sufficiently strong that you care about the garb of words in which you place it. If you're sloppy, slangy, vulgar, blasphemous, or scatological, or simply crude and ignorant, then your thoughts are the same, or you don't mean what you say.
There is one subject, though, that he will not talk about: his private life, especially his past, that includes bouts with alcohol and his marriage and divorce from co-worker Jennifer Davis.
In any real scale of things, no, everybody will have you know, mixtures of pleasantness and unpleasantness, and in any detail, I won't relate any of it.
Do you have any contact with your daughter?
I am not going to discuss these matters at all.
Back in early October, there was only one topic of discussion and commentary.
The Simpson trial should be fairly straight.
He's written his commentary in that big, comfy chair. Now, the producer checks it out.
I made that change in the script for the...
Two producers.
Goldman's father saying this is a travesty or whatever he said. And that when he was
Yeah.
so angry, he was just shaking with anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's only 12 seconds, but it'll get down to where...
As
oh,
per
Rodney
race.
King. Rodney King videos.
Give them time to digest. Okay, I'll run a copy off for myself, give bits back to you.
Yeah.
Then I'll go to makeup and we'll take it from there.
Oops.
Sorry.
Okay.
Knock, knock. Apart from a verb or an adjective, there's not much change. Nothing goes on the air anywhere unless it's at least given one quick screen in case it's libelous or something. But there's not much interference, so it's quite comfortable as far as I'm concerned.
We'll be ready to roll as soon as the auto cue gets put up. Hello? Hello. Got the script for the auto cue.
The Simpson trial was about race, celebrity, and money. No middle-class or unemployed defendant could even fantasize about mounting a defense that could parallel the platoon of Rolex lawyers and experts that Simpson commanded. Real celebrities only exist in America, where being a name and having the money that goes with it gives a purchase on power that everybody else can only dream team about.
In so many ways, he's sort of like the people's voice within our hour. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody agrees with what he says, but what he says provokes people to either agree with him or disagree with him, and they use him as a vehicle to get their feelings on the air.
Rex, my old son, you're absolutely right. O.J. Simpson bought and paid for his justice. But what makes you think it's any different here in Canada?
We try to get him on every week.
Tony Berman is the executive producer of The National, Rex's boss.
He is a Newfoundlander, and I think that no viewer who ever sees him on air would lose sight of that fact. But I think that perspective is something that kind of enriches, I think, a lot of his commentary, and I think a lot of people, including those who live many, many miles away from Newfoundland, really respond to that.
If imitation is the highest form of flattery, parody is a close second.
Referendum Afterthoughts with Rex Murphy.
Now that the political fallout from the latest Quebec referendum vote has begun to settle over our country, like dandruff on an undertaker's sooty-suited shoulders, what are we to make of the results?
Toronto is home to 4 million people and dozens of TV and radio stations. So, believe it or not everybody has heard of Rex Murphy.
Excuse me, sir, can I ask you if you know who Rex Murphy is?
No.
No, I don't know.
No, I don't know who Rex Murphy is.
Can I ask you if you know who Rex Murphy is?
I don't know, man.
Well, I'll have to make sure to listen to Rex Murphy. Good Irish name that he has got.
He's a guy on CBC, just after the National.
What do you think of him?
Kind of depressing.
Oh, I think he's great. He's got a marvelous command of the English language.
How are you today, sir?
Pretty good. Rex, did you civilize San Francisco? Did they speak with a Newfoundland lilt?
That would take a biblical force beyond even mine. I never selected any of this stuff. I'm still trying to make up my mind what to do. It's getting kind of late in the day, I agree. But I don't think of this as a serious career. I just think it's a kind of hobby.
Just how long he'll keep on with this hobby, he's not sure. He's got offers to write a couple of books, but he figures he'll just stay at this till he finds something else he'd rather do.
I'm Rex Murphy. Say a prayer for me, and we'll see you later.
Good timing.
I got it right time.